Morning, everyone. So this video is a pre-game video of my match for the Americas singles event. So it's Monday. I'm not playing this till Thursday night, so I won't release this till after my game. But I wanted to do kind of a pre-game analysis for myself and for people who have commented that they want to see maybe more army-specific thoughts or like matchup-specific thoughts. So I hopefully can do this for all 6 rounds. Maybe even adding a post-game analysis after my game is played to see if things went the way I thought they would, or if something completely different. So this is my round one. My army's at the top. We've talked about it a little bit in a past video. I ended up going with the Chaos Lord change with Burning Portent, and then downgrading some flares to a dog unit, taking away the greed unit and making a gluttony unit. And that's really, and the knights became Forsworn. So the knights became Forsworn. This flare unit I had became this dog unit, and then I could fit the dogs in core because I cut the greed mark on my warriors. So, and then I added this Chosen Lord with Burning Pour and Veilgate Orb because I had 10 points, and then the mage got Alchemy instead of Evocation. The big reason for this, some of them was one, the Herald can now lose the General, so he's worth 200 points less. I felt there are some units out there, and it's just like, it's a threat thing, right? I basically lost the Chosen Chariot. That's the biggest thing. Because if you chaff, sure, I have worse chaff now because Skinning Lashes were whatever. They were 40 points I didn't have to spend. I didn't like the Knights. I think I told you guys that I didn't really love the Knights. So now I get kind of a tanky holding up unit, pretty much the same as the Knights were, but just in Forsworn. They're slower, of course, but I mean, it's just a different style. They have more wounds. They have spike shields. They turn into spawn, so they're harder to break through. Just a different unit in that case. But I now get this Lord who has, a 1-up armor save hero with rerolls. He can move 15 inches out of the unit. He's not the fastest model, but it kind of makes that warrior block, who I didn't play perfectly. It's just, right, you don't want to mess with it. I mean, in my practice games, it's already changed matchups where it's just like, you have to deal with him. He kills so much more things than a Chosen Chariot does, like by himself, or like, threatens more things. Just think of the Ocho games I played. I mean, UD, he would have been okay versus UD, but it would give me something to kill the giant easier. He wouldn't have been the greatest versus the infantry, to be fair. Maybe the characters in the infantry. Then we have what? We had 2 KOE armies that he would have been pretty good against. Because he can tank units by himself and just kill like 2 or 3 miles a turn and probably hold, worst case. What else is he good against? Ogres he's great against. He just can kill bunkers and everything. You don't want to be charged by him. I mean, the list goes on. He just provides matchup changes. And so I wanted to try him for the singles event. And already I'll say rewarded in a way of that I have a match that I think he's pretty good in. So I'm playing Joel Flint. Joel has played at ETC before twice, a couple years ago. So he's no stranger to, bigger games. I think he's taking more of not a fun list, as in like it's not like a bad list. He wanted the dragon. He's a pretty aggressive player usually, so this is more his style than some of his shooting builds I've seen him do. So let's just go through the list real quick. So it's a dragon with Wizard King and the Rune Fang, a Cosmo Mage, a MR4 BSB, a Lance unit, 3 Great Weapon units, 2 Griffin units, both engines, and a Steam Tank. So I mean, the diversity, or if you want to call it diversity, in this list comes from the magic, I guess. The rest is pretty. There's not many tricks, right? And not saying that in a bad way, but it's like, okay, I have a couple small units that can kind of chaffy fighty things. I have a big block of. I mean, it's not even that big block of a knights, right? It's 12 with no characters that fight in it, and then a dragon, an 800-point dragon. It's actually not that expensive, but I guess it doesn't have MR and stuff. I would have liked to seen MR on the dragon instead of. I don't really understand completely why he needs Crown of the Wizard King on the dragon. Sure, the spells aren't bad, but I guess you could have taken it on the Marshal. Um, and put rock on the dragon, obsidian rock on the dragon. I digress. It's about the game at hand, not what he could have did with the list. So I mean, obviously, from first sight, you know, adding the burning portent helps this match tremendously, right? It compared to the, and you got to compare it to the chosen chariot essentially. And now he's more points than chosen chariot and all the little stuff in between. But that's the main thing, right? He kills pretty much every unit in this army alone, except for the dragon has a chance to kill him with the no armor save weapon. Though he only has 4 attacks, so he'd have to hit all of them, and I would get 2 swings before he. I'd probably get 2 swings before he killed me. Anyway, that's here nor there. I can't only do so much about that. He can't be good versus everything, right? But these guys can't kill him easily. He'll just kill half the unit before they fight him. I mean, the engines have some play because of distracting, but I mean, I hit on what 2s, so I hit on 3s because they're probably not weapon skill defense. They might be defense 5 actually. I don't actually know what defense they are. I should look that up just to see. But anyway, let's look it up. This is part of the. I don't play a lot of Empire, so part of I tell people how to get better. One thing to do is learn the enemy armies. Like go into the game knowing what the enemy stuff does and knowing some of the stats and the keys. So yeah, see that this is a key stat. They're only defense 4, so I hit them on 2s with my Chaos Lord, so it's 3s with the distracting. That's something to note. Changes the math a little bit, or just good. Arcane engines are actually pretty freaking easy to kill. They are defense 5, armor 2, 5 up, 5 up. I mean, they're barely harder to kill than they're easier to kill. I don't know what to compare it to. I was comparing it to something stupid, but they're not that hard to kill. They're also only move 8, so that's something. And they have good balance spells, so his magic's gonna be pretty good. I mean, he has a dragon. It's hold the center, so we'll go over the map in a second. And he has 6 scoring, so 6 scoring is good for that. But it's not the most. It's not the strongest scoring, right? He doesn't. None of these blocks beat my Portent Lord by itself, let alone in my warrior unit. Though maybe my warrior unit actually is bad because it makes him. He gets more attacks and stomps, but honestly, it probably doesn't matter because they res, and I'll just kill him with the Portent, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, it's a fight in the center, but at the same time, it's, can he beat my bigger things in the center? Like, right, these knights can't beat any of my units, pretty much. So you can almost count them as like, what are they going to do? I mean, this knight unit is what, strength 4? 6 on the charge, 4 otherwise? I mean, he's going to get buffed. I agree. He has 2 perceptions of strength and stuff like that, but I guess what I'm saying is that he's not that good when he's getting charged. And so being a fast army of my own, it can get a little dicey of like, how much do you want to stay in the center? Who gets the better charges? I have the magic is going to be interesting. So when I see this, one steam tank, that's an issue. I'm not going to say it's not. Portent can help with it, but it would have been more of an issue if I didn't have the Portent. I don't have a good way to deal with it. How many wounds is it? It's 6 or 7. Hoping for 6, 7. Fuck this steam tank. Jeez. It's not that bad after you're fighting it. Like it can't kill my AP2 is not that good versus me. And even 3D3 is 6. It does like 1 wound to an elder after charging. Or, when it's just grinding out. And of course, armor save 1 is annoying, so we'll have to deal with that. But, overall against this list, so what magic-wise, Cosmo, random spell. I can't anticipate the random spell. I just got to accept whatever it is. And then he has double ice and fire and double perception of strength, because I'm sure he's going to take it here. And he's probably going to take... the ward save kind of sucks. I would say it's okay. Hitting my whole unit is whatever. He'll probably do the heal wound spell because as I ping stuff off his drag, I mean, you gotta take it, right? With a steam tank and with a dragon, why wouldn't you take the heal wound spell? It's so effective to heal your guys back. I don't know what his last spell will be. Actually, let's look up what Cosmo has real quick. He might take Altered Sight just because this helps. There's some breakpoints, I guess, like where my Chaos Warriors will hit easy hard. Like it's basically -1 to hit for a lot of my things. I think he'll take this. I think he'll take. I don't know if he'll take this because this is horrible versus me. But Aegis on his unit's okay. He might just take this. I don't know. He might take this, but it's probably one of these two. To be fair, he'll have decent magic for sure. It's not the most threatening magic. It's not like Grave Calls in your face type shit. But I mean, Ice and Fire is a cool spell. It's not the greatest versus me because even if you make me reroll my armor saves, it's like what? You're wounding on 6s. You're wounding on 5s. You do like a wound on here average. You do like 0, like a wound here on average. You kill like 2 warriors on average. It's not like the most deadliest spells for me as far as missiles are concerned. And you know, it's very clear when I'm at range that there's only like 2 ice and fires coming at me, maybe this guy's spell. And when I'm in combat, it's the 2 perceptions of strength, which is not that. With a binding scroll is really nice because I can just binding scroll the real version and just stop the bounce spell version. So I mean, sure, he could get a buff here and stuff, but I mean, I just gotta deal with that. And he's gonna take he's probably gonna take Quicksilver Lash on his mage as he's gonna drop one of his spells for Lash, even though Lash is actually not that good versus my army anymore because reroll versus these. I dropped the Knights and he's gonna be in the unit, and the Chariot has Basalt. Yeah, maybe he doesn't take Lash actually, but you know, I gotta respect it a little bit. I can't just do nothing. And then for myself, I will take Quicksilver Lash because it's 2 valuable of wounds on the Steam Tank and the Marshal for a 3 dice to cast. I mean, I don't know if there's any spell better that I have that's wounds for casting value than Quicksilver Lash, and I'll take a Glory of Gold. I don't think I really need the armor against him. He does not the highest strength in combat. And then Glory of Gold, I mean, AP is amazing versus army and reroll to wound, so I can't really go wrong there, right? So I'll probably go Glory of Gold and Quicksilver Lash for that reason. And then on my Herald, so here's the map. On my Herald, I was thinking, I gotta go Veilwalker because Grave Calls is too good against the dragon. And I was actually thinking of going Veilwalker Fly because I think Breath of Corruption's obviously super good versus army. And then not taking Hellfire because he doesn't really have anything to Hellfire. I mean, yeah, you can Hellfire the wagons, but I don't know if they're number 1 priority to Hellfire. So I was thinking this, and this is my spells, which is a combo I've done before. I actually really like this combo, these 2, and even either this or Hellfire. One thing this allows me to do is he can heal the dragon, but I mean, I can always stop that spell if I think I'm going to kill it, but you're always at the risk of just like think of the magic phase if it's 3 dice this on the dragon or the tank, and then 4 or 5 dice Grave Calls with Veilwalker on the dragon or the tank. It's just an effective magic phase, or just like, the thing is, depending on how many dice you get, let's not do this one, it's Lash. If it comes down to it, I can do Breath Corruption on 2 dice on my Herald is really nice, right? It averages a wound to the tank, maybe a wound to the dragon. It can spike to 2 wounds. It kills half a knight unit. You know what I mean? And those knights can't be healed. So, you hit one of his 5-man blocks, or you hit the 12-man once or twice with Breath of Corruption, and all of a sudden they're sitting at not many wounds left. The breath weapon I have is not that useful on me, but, it's whatever at that point. The Fly, I mean, he only has 1 cannon, so I'm not, like, super scared of, the Steam Tank being the problem for my Herald, because I could always start behind something and, like, fly up, and then once I get behind him, the thing is, like, I don't need the Strength 6 versus army. I have enough Strength 6 and spells to stop what I need to stop. The Herald will fight off the wagons by himself. He does not need any help for that. He does not need any help to hold up any of the big units. Um, he can definitely do all that good stuff. So I actually did have his army brought out at some point, and then I quit out, and then it got deleted. So that sucks. I don't want to. That's kind of like the first thing you do is you kind of look over the list and you say, all right, what am I scared of? What are the key points, right? Obviously, it's the dragon. You look at things that can mess with your units and do some math on it. Like, obviously, I don't want my elders fighting straight up on the Knights of the Sun Griffin. Do they cause fear? They have to cause fear, right? They have to cause fear. They're on freaking griffins. They cause fear, okay. So they're not immune to terror, though. I don't think he has a leadership problem. I think he's leadership 9 everywhere. It's got to be 9, right? Yeah, the marshal's 9. He gets orders. I don't know if he can actually use them on anything. Well, I'm not going to worry too much. I'll ask him when it comes time. So, we have this scenario in this map, and this is what I'm going to take. The +1 strength is my gluttony thing. So I'm not going to take these. So this is my army. If I had to choose sides, I'd choose bottom side. Obviously, the hill is super nice, and we can load the map, the deployment zone. All right. So this is the map. And we can see, right up next to the hill, the same thing here. It's not that big difference of sides. I mean, obviously the bottom side's better, right? Because it's the same terrain piece here, essentially. Neither of us have shooting, so this doesn't, like, small shooting, so this field is worthless. I get the wall on my side. You get the hill on your side, because he has to come towards the middle, right? Because it's hold the ground. And to be fair, neither of us really want to be in the woods. I mean, his army doesn't want to march through it or charge through it, so it's not a huge deal because he can just walk forward turn 1. But I think I definitely I'd rather go first in this matchup. I think, but I'm not going. I would pick the bottom side, and I wouldn't care that much if I had to go second. I'm going to look at one thing on his knights real quick. Where's his knights? Electoral cavalry. So he can take 1 knight commander unit, which he has +1 offense, defense, armor, strength. So strength 4, armor penetration, sorry. Cannot take great weapons. Great weapons means they're only strength 5, and they don't get... You have to pay for shields. So you don't get shields naturally, which makes sense why you wouldn't pay for them with great weapons. Okay. So he has 2 up save and he has 3 strength. Okay. Well, he hits my... Yeah. The math I was trying to do here is if he charged my herald, how scared am I of a knight unit charge? And I don't give a shit if 5 knights charge my herald. He hits on 5s. He wounds on 4s. He probably loses 1 or 2. He has to take a fear check. He loses 1 or 2. I need 3s and 2s and 2s, and he's a 3-up save for 2. I'd probably kill 1 or 2 before he even goes. If it's really early, I might use my breath weapon just because there's no really good units to use it on. If I really need to get out of combat that turn, that's a risk he has to take. If he charges my guy and then he risks me breathing and attacking, and then if he dies, then I might get a free reform. Maybe I have breath weapon. I'm just thinking for positioning purposes. If I care if I get charged by them, and I probably don't. So I want bottom side because sitting here, if this unit's really strong, and the one thing is, right, if you can't deal with the port easily, then him sitting here is an issue because he's in the boundary, and if you want to be in the boundary too, you need to be near him, right? It's no joke to be in his death zone. He has a dragon. I have a lot more speed, I'd say, to go around, obviously, right? Because those knight units can't charge my elders. It's fear checks. I mean, his BSB is only so wide, right? So if he's running out here to charge an elder with some knights, even if he's 3x2, he can't break my steadfast. He has 5 attacks that need 4s and 5s, and I have a 5 of save. Worst case, if he doesn't get a spell off, I mean, who gives a shit if he's +1 strength? I mean, sure, I could be -1 strength. That'd be annoying. I still think I beat him at -1 strength. And at +1 strength, he probably has 2 models left before he gets to swing. I need 3s and 2s with the 5 up save. 2s, 3s, 2, 4, 2 or 3 die on average. Obviously, you can whiff and stuff. I mean, obviously, like it's 455 points compared to 185, but it's a scoring versus non. And the problem with those knight units is, right, if he charges this guy, he runs the risk of just giving me a free reform. So sometimes you gotta take a chance and not be a goddamn pussy. But like this position, I mean, what do you do against this unit? He doesn't have the frontage. He needs the dragon. It's just a strong, and you can't skirt the sides that well, right? You want to be like, oh, he has 6 scoring units. Well, his units don't fit exactly superbly into this. 2 of them are giant wide units. He has a bunch of little knights. They don't fit perfectly into this 6-inch bubble because he has no chaff really. So how do you handle the Pouring Lord sitting in the middle is pretty difficult, I'd say. Steam Tank causes issues, I will say, probably the most for me. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do versus it. I probably have some ideas where, depending on where the Steam Tank is, I might run him out in like front of a unit and just say, run him in front of 4 of the guys and say, all right, well, the Steam Tank can't one-shot my thing with the cannon because only D3 wounds. So I have a little bit of play there. It's also like shooting. It's only so good, right? I can't like be too scared of that. So I would want bottom side. I'd want to basically say, all right, I know this unit's probably going to come to the wall here. This unit's probably going to come to the wall here. I'd probably have my Feldrax here so they can be near the center if I need to score, but also be off the hill. An Elder would probably go here. An Elder would probably go here to kind of threaten things. I think my Herald would have to go like in the middle. Though ideally you'd want to threaten like to go behind here, so I'd probably put him like here. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter then, right? I'd probably put him like here. Because I don't have to kill the dragon turn 1, right? Like, that's not it doesn't have to happen. And he doesn't, I gotta keep maybe my flares alive and my dogs alive. Sorry, I was doing something. Yeah, I mean, this army is dynamic enough that with its movement, that if I have to deploy first, I don't mind because I can reposition very quickly. It's almost like there's almost like a bait to it in its own sense, right? Like, and this is kind of why there's the argument, for this points of a Feldrake Elder, you can get like 4 Feldrakes. But the difference is if you put 4 Feldrakes here, right? Like here, for example, facing this way. If the enemy deploys everything here, you can't easily, this is not how you would do it, 6, you can't get yourself to here and threaten again. If you were standing here, you would have to walk here or walk around, and or this guy can just walk 16 to like here, right? If you're going straight forward, it's great, but when you want to go like laterally, like, oh, I want to go from here to up here, you want the other thing. So something like getting behind this for my Herald is probably pretty good to look like this, because it's unlikely. I don't think there's any position a Steam Tank could actually charge my guy from this position, depending on where he put it. I could always hide behind my own model if I needed to. My spells aren't line of sight. I just need front arc, except for the breath. So I could get, something like this. And, this zones his dragon. If you put your Herald, like here, it's like, where do you put the dragon? Over here? Maybe you just put it here and accept that I'm going to walk up and, like, try to hit you with my Mark for Doom. But if this chariot, it's probably something like this. I don't know. The chariot would probably be on the hill, to be fair. This might even be switched. I don't know exactly. I mean, this would be if he let me deploy first from here. I don't even really need the wall. I'm not going to lie. I don't really give a shit about the wall. I'm going to just assume it'd be something like this. I don't know if these warriors would be here. I'm making it up. I don't know yet. I have to look. I'd fit it in somehow, like here or something. But something like generally like this, right? And the cav would probably be like here or something. Like, I don't know exactly. I'm just making up shit. But, you could think that he's probably not going to deploy a lot here. He's probably going to put a battle line like this because he doesn't have... Maybe he'll put sure, he could put, like, Sun Griffins here, but you're always, like, threatening with this. And, if this guy is... If it's more like this... I guess. Then, you could do where you run behind and maybe make it like, you can make it so like they can't charge you because you give them your flank and they can't actually touch you, right? If they were like sitting here or even here, like they couldn't hit anything here. Who knows? I mean, or you just zone them out and say don't give a shit, obviously. You have options, or you can just reposition over here and have like your chariot threaten. Here, I mean, if you make the army very wide of the empire, then they start running into panic checks, right? Like, if you had 4 Sun Griffins sitting over here and your BSB was in the middle, and I cast Lash at you, or Breath Weapon or something, just something that does like 3 wounds to you, and you have to take a Leadership 8 check or die off the board, or take a Terror check from an Elder who, if he gets in there, I mean, he probably doesn't win the fight easily. I think they're 1-up saves, right? They're 1-up saves because, actually, I gotta look it up. Because he has shields on him. So, plate armor is 4, shield, no, they're only 2-up saves. They're 2-up and they're 3-up if you take lances. Wow, okay, that does suck. Yeah, so my Elder kills a model on the charge. It's a 5-up save, 4, roughly a model. If it doesn't matter, and then I take 3 strength, 5, 9, 3 half. I take like a wound back, so I probably win by like 2. And he gets no steadfast, so he's on leadership 6 check. Yeah, you don't want to be charged by the Elder when I have a magic phase, because Gloria Gold and stuff, or even Breath Weapon on me is pretty good. Yeah, it's an interesting fight, at least. But, I mean, that's what I'm trying to say, right? Like, if he... This guy's going to fly and threaten... Just him being, like, here, right? It's... Depending on what can charge him, if anything. It's just super threatening, because if you move... Like, if he goes to here, the next turn, and your wagons are sitting here, it's like, what do? You have to get your wagons out of there. You don't have the spells to take him out at 1 round. Sure, Ice and Fire can spike. But even if you get 12 hits, you average 4 wounds, and then I save 2, and then it's like a wound. Like, Ice and Fire is not that good versus him. It seems very good versus him, but it's not that good versus him. Like, if I have to let it go, I will. I'm willing to take some wounds if needed. Now, if his Steam Tank's sitting here, it's annoying because I can't get behind him because he can turn around. So maybe he puts a Steam Tank near my Herald to kind of stop that. Obviously, that's annoying, but, you can hold up the Steam Tank with units and do wounds to it. It's not like it's impossible to kill with... I mean, it still only averages, like, 2 wounds versus Feldrax. Is that 6, 3? It's 2. It's 1 and 2 point something. So it probably won't break the. It can't pursue him anyway. So as long as you don't fucking just break instantly. I mean, you can charge an Elder at it and hold it up, and if you get Glory of Gold, you're right. You need threes and fours were rollable with AP4, so it's 5. I mean, you can kill it like that if you need to. So that's why Glory of Gold is nice. Or you just Mark for Doom it early and Breath Weapon it and Quicksilver Lash it and try to kill it like that. So there's options for it. Who knows where it would go in this case, because, or you just walk the port in front of it. I mean, 2d3, I mean, he can kill you with impact hits, so you got to be careful. You don't want to take the charge from it. But you have a lot of units that can lock it down, right? Put flares in front of it. Probably flares aren't here. They're probably in the middle here to make a line here. Put flares in front of it. If it charges it, doesn't shoot, it kills them, and then you charge it with something else, and it's locked down, and then it's whatever, right? Dragon versus Porn is always interesting because he gets his just straight up 4 attacks. He killed me, see? If I went first, do I hit on 2s? No, I only hit on 3s. No, I'm going to die. Just assume I get rerolls. No. Yeah. I don't want to face the dragon if I can with my Porn. A lot early. I'd want to do like 2 or 3 wounds to it first. Because I get to go first. I want to get my strength 6 up. Like, I mean, and shit like these guys aren't bad versus the dragon either. They get fucking hatred, strength 6. 1 Glory of Gold or Breath Weapon, and I'm doing 2 or 3 wounds, and the dude only hits me on 4s. I think he's only offense 5, so I can look that up again. See, these are the breakpoints that are super nice to know what their offense is and stuff like that. No, it's not him. It's the main guy. No, that's a 9. Yeah, so he's only offense 5, so he only hits my guy on 4s, right? He has no rerolls built in. He can get lightning reflexes, of course, but those things, the wagons aren't that fast. So it's like, that's part of it too, right? The wagons aren't the fastest models in the game. So you just got to have your options out there. I mean, hell, even this guy, like, I don't want to charge the fucking dragon with him, but that's probably a bad idea. You don't want that. The breath weapon sucks versus my army. Jesus, it's pretty awful. It's only good versus maybe him. It's not even that good versus him. Maybe the Cav. I mean, the dragon's an issue. I gotta respect it, but if you're flying around at the dragon casting, like, grave calls with rerolls to wound, and you're, just doing some math. I mean, I just did 4 wounds to the dragon in 1 turn, 1 spell. What do, right? Because if the dragon dies for my herald, I lose my magic. But honestly, his is more points, and then he loses pretty much the only model that can kill my Porn, and then I can just try to kill the rest of his army with my units. So, like I said, it's an interesting matchup. I don't want to, this was just me talking about it. People wanted to kind of hear my thoughts beforehand. I got to see a lot of things on the board. It's hard to go too much in depth in that. Look at what units counter other units. Look at what fights. Have an idea going into the game, what kind of fights go your way, what kind of fights don't go your way, what can you do, how can you use your binding scroll, Would I charge my mage at a unit of Sun Griffins? I probably would. If you kill 2, which I probably won't do, I mean, if you cast Glory Gold on yourself, those impact hits are AP3, you do get that, you don't get the rerolls. There might be taking a check. I don't really want to do that charge, but that's just an option there. You can do things where, like, the Elder forces a clip, right? Like, that's probably the biggest one is they're 4 wide, and you just put your model like this, and right, they can only get the 1 in. There's a perfect way to do it, but we'll just say, right? You make it so they can only get the 1 in. And then it's you versus 1 guy, and you have 6 strength 6, and he has 3 strength 5 and a strength 6 up top. You should win that fight. And what can they do? They can't go anywhere. Yeah. So we'll see how it goes on Thursday. I feel confident in the sense that on paper, I think my army matches up nicely. I think there's some tools on both sides. His magic is pretty strong. My magic's very strong. And then it's a positional game of dealing with the steam tank and positioning my single models to get the right charges, and hopefully nothing goes horribly wrong. But hopefully I can update you guys after that's over. And so, thanks.